We are the wise and wicked crones. Got no time for lies, no time for casting stones. Wise and wicked, no time for fears or prevarications. Wise and wicked, gonna rise among the nations. Crones are gonna spread our wisdom around the nations. We are the wise and wicked crones. Wise and wicked crones.
Hello.
Hello, my friend. How are you today?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
Ah, it's been a month, I tell you.
Well, I'll tell you, the rain the last couple of days that we had filled me with despair. It takes away my will to live. But today, then last night when the wind kicked up, I thought, am I going to lose my roof? And this morning it was so windy
It was.
that I didn't even take the dogs out because even though it said it was -5, the wind chill was -14. And I went to the grocery store and I had they take batteries, they reclaim
Yeah, yeah.
batteries there. So I had batteries in a little berry container, put the empty berry container back in my cart, went out to put everything in the car. The wind came, it took that berry container away so fast and so far, like there's no way I could even chase it. It
Yeah.
was, it was way down there and I felt terrible because A, I lost my berry container and B, I was littering and I don't mean to litter. And the problem with being where I am on the street here, even though they pick up the garbage behind us, it's garbage day. Everyone's garbage is now rolled onto my pad. It looks like I've got a ton of garbage, when in fact, all I have out there is very little garbage and two toilets because I had two
Yeah,
toilets for.
hey, interesting. Yes, we had it was really windy here too. The power flickered on and off a few times just because it's just so windy. So
So
windy. Okay,
windy.
let's do the official start.
Okay.
We'll start off by uh we'll do our land acknowledgement. Let's do that. We acknowledge that the land we meet on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Attawandaron, the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee. Oh, why can't I say that today? Haudenosaunee.
Haudenosaunee.
I'm so
Haudenosaunee.
sorry. I usually pronounce that one right. And Wendat peoples, and now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. My name is Peggy Sample, also known as Margarett, and I am a musician, a writer, a mom, a friend, a wife, a daughter, and not necessarily in that order. And I am like Leia, I'm going to say it first today. I am a lover of fine wines.
Excellent. Excellent. My name is Leea Nutson. I am a warrior. I am a political wonk. I am a rabid knitter. I'm a yoga enthusiast. I am
Mm.
a grandmother. I am a dog lover, and I like to drink wine. And apparently these days I'll drink just about anything. So
Usually you say fine wine. We'll talk about what wine we're drinking later on.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So, our mission statement is combined. We have accumulated over a century of learning and life experiences. Our mission is to bring you thought-provoking, interesting, and often humorous wisdom that will enhance your life and enlighten your spirit. Nothing is sacred. This is a frank look at life and an open space for discussion, and we welcome you into our worlds.
We absolutely do. And if this is not for you, please just move on. And we also want to say this is all meant to be entertaining and educational. There is no professional advice being given. If you would need medical or legal or financial advice, this is not what we are giving. Please consult the appropriate professional.
Exactly.
Okay, that out of the way. I will do that's me cleansing the cards. I'm going to pull an oracle card, a tarot card from our beautiful Mother Peace tarot deck. Vicky Noble and Karen Vogel created that. And who's going to be with us for today's podcast? Four of Discs. How appropriate in some ways, because the Four of Discs is taking time, closing the door, spending time in your own, with your own solitude, being in your home. Sometimes it means your time to go out. You've been doing lots of cocooning and it's time to go out. So it has both of those meanings, and it will be appropriate either way for today's topic, which is preparing for the holidays. And that doesn't just mean decorating, although we have some great ideas for that, but it also, and more importantly, I think, getting ourselves ready for the holidays because they can be really tough for a lot of people.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. It can be a very difficult time for people. It is difficult for me in the sense that well, first of all, I'm a widow, but Bob's birthday is December the 19th. So we used to always be kind of wrapped up into our holidays, So so yeah, so I do find it challenging. The first year when he passed was particularly difficult, but I've learned some strategies and things that have helped me work through it. The first of which is to enjoy a lovely glass. This is my new favorite. This is not an endorsement. There's nothing. This is just my purchases from the LCBO. This is an Ontario wine. It's called Our Story. It's very well priced. It's in the mid, like less than $20, but around 15.95 or so. It's a red. What is it? It's a Cab Merlot. I happen to really enjoy it. It's a great sipping wine. It's a great party wine as well. Pairs very well with a lot of different things.
Does it tell you which winery it's from?
Maybe, but the printing is really tiny and these are not my strength.
Okay, well, I'll tell you my two favorite Ontario Reds, one of which I'm drinking. Actually, I love Vineland Estates. I love their cabs and their cab francs. They have a really, for the price, 15.95 in the LCBO, a cab franc that is underpriced. It's really a lovely wine. This is the next one up because I just felt like treating myself. And the other one is Casaba has a really lovely red in the liquor store. And I think it's also 15.95. And it's not in every liquor store, but again, really like it, you feel like you're drinking a much more expensive wine. We did a taste test with the Casaba one and a $30 bottle of wine and blind and preferred the Casaba $15 one.
Just never know. I mean, this isn't the finest wine, but it's a great, just workhorse wine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, these ones too. Yeah,
Niagara. It's from Niagara. Apparently, they told me at the liquor store it's very, very popular at Valentine's Day because it's called Our Story.
Ah,
so cute.
This one's called Cabernet.
You can tell we're recording in the evening because we've got our ring lights going, and occasionally you can see the ring light in my glasses behind me. You can see in Peggy's glasses as well. So
yeah, that happens to me a lot because this room always needs the light. But yeah, and I've tried everything placement to get it where. So cheers, Leea. Cheers.
Cheers. Whereas the Finns say kippies. Yeah, hyvää joulua. That tastes so good.
But yeah, and so what are some of your favorite ways? And I'll tell you one thing, when I was doing readings all the time, and I did a lot of grief work when I was working as a medium, a lot of grief work. And one of the things that I learned was everybody tells you, the first one is so hard. The first one is so hard. And what I started telling people after a few years was the second one is also really hard. And you're not expecting it because people all say, oh, just get through the first one. Well, the second one, in my experience, is just as bad.
I completely concur with that. And it's that actually the whole grief cycle is like that. The second year is much worse for some reason than the first year. And my friend Myra warned me about that. She told me it's going to take you about 18 months to kind of percolate through all of that. So it's absolutely true. This year is in some ways, then we had COVID and all that other nonsense, which really kind of impacted Christmas. But I did come up with 12 different things that I like to do to help me get in the Christmas
because of the 12 days of Christmas?
I don't know. I'm just very pragmatic. So 12 was the
number. Let's hear them.
thing I like to do is I decorate. And I have a background in interior decorating. That's what I did before I got into Party Light. And then, of course, Party Light's all about decorating. So I love to decorate, and I do decorate up my house. I mean, some things I don't. I don't do my bedroom. Some people go all crazy and do a bedroom. No, I do the main floor. And to a certain extent, I do the basement as well, but I like to decorate. So that's the first thing that I do.
We decorate majorly for Christmas. We have two trees, one upstairs, one downstairs. We have a complete Christmas village all the way across our fireplace mantle
Oh,
that Brent has been doing for years and years and years. There's all my favorite party like Christmas pieces. And then, there's garlands. Oh, I've got a garland behind me.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Dot here.
Yeah, exactly. So, yes, decorating it and listen to your favorite music while you're doing it. If it's
Exactly.
Christmas
Music was
music.
the other thing. Yeah, that's on my list as well.
Okay.
And that's
Oops.
what I listen to CHFI. They have their Christmas station. It's all Christmas all the time. And honest to God, if I hear Feliz Navidad one more time, I'm absolutely going to scream. But you did put me in mind of something because when Bob was alive, we had a second home. We had a weekend house, and I used to decorate. I had two trees there and a Charlie Brown tree. So, I decorated basically two houses, and I really, really enjoyed that. And certainly Christmas songs really, really put me in the mood. I get out my collection of Tontu. And I think I'm going to show this before. I've got tons of
Yes.
Tontus. Yep. I'm a big fan of Tontus. Will I stop collecting them? No, probably not. I love my Tontus. Okay. So music I think is extremely important. What else have I got here on my list? Oh yeah, the other thing that I do that I started doing last year that I've done again this year was for my knitting group, which is a very small group, I bought them all a tea advent calendar. So from David's, and again, not sponsored, love David's tea advent calendars. And so every day we open up our advent, take out the newest tea, and then we compare notes. We send each
Oh,
other texts.
neat.
Yeah. So how did you like the tea? It was good. It wasn't good, whatever, and actually most of them are delicious. So highly recommend the David's Tea Advent Calendar. Don't know if I'm going to do it again next year, but certainly the last year and this year, it feels very special to be able to share that with my friends.
Yeah. I want to just add one more thing about decorating is for me, all of the decorations, almost all of the decorations on the trees mean something. They've come from somewhere, and where I remember I have. So I love that part of the tradition of the holidays. And for me, it's solstice and Christmas. That's what I celebrate. And there's a lot of other ones going on at this time of year as well.
Oh yeah,
So
for sure. There's all
we
kinds.
are both sort of celebrate Christmas, and so we're going to kind of be slanted towards that, but this applies right across, I would
Yeah,
say.
for
We
sure, for
hope.
sure.
Yeah.
The other thing that I do is I watch a lot of what's called a vlogmas. Now, if you're not a knitter or a crocheter or a crafter, it's probably not of interest to you. But on the YouTube, a lot of the people who have knitting YouTube channels like we do here, they do what's called a vlogmas, and they will put out snippets, maybe 15, maybe only 5 minutes, sometimes a half an hour long of what they did during that day, which is kind of interesting because you see them decorating and shopping and preparing. So Vlogmas in the knitting world is a big deal. So yeah, they don't always do it. They don't all do it. But some of my favorite knitting podcasters do a Vlogmas. So
Oh,
I really
cool.
the Vlogmas. So that kind of gets me in the mood, especially when I see, the different things that they're doing. It also inspires me to want to spend more money, which is a bad thing. The next thing on my list is because I'm going kind of by what I do time wise,
Okay.
because beginning of the month. Okay, so the next thing that I do is and this started it started when Bob first moved in with me. He moved into the house that we used to live in on a street that I lived on for many, many years, and he wanted to get to know the neighbors. So he said, "Let's have a wine and cheese party and get to know the neighbors." So
Mm.
I literally printed up 45 sheets of paper, and it was called Get to Know Your Neighbor. And I went and I put them in everybody's mailbox on our street. Didn't know these people at all. And my heart was pounding. I was terrified. I didn't think anyways, we had 45 people show up
Oh,
to the
wow.
very first one. And then it started a tradition of Bob and I going to Olympia, which is a well-known cheese company, buying, tasting of the cheeses, selecting the cheeses, so that I have so much cheese paraphernalia. I've got and how I do it is I don't use a charcuterie board. What I do is, because these are artisanal cheeses, I have glass cake pedestals. I'm actually going to post in our Facebook group. I'll post a picture of what my table looked like.
Mm.
I have each cheese and I have it garnished. I have special breads. And I set it all up like that, and with grapes and all kinds of other things. So we did that for years and years on our street, and then we moved here, and our lifestyle changed because we were at our weekend house. But when I got involved with one of the organizations that political organizations I'm involved with, because I'm the president, I started having them here in my house for my board of directors, and they love that. And I even said to them this year, "Do you want to not do it? We'll combine another event." And they're like, "No, no, we." Like, okay. So we did that this past Friday evening, and so the only red wine I served was this one, and then I had a variety of different white wines for different people, and alcoholic beers, non-alcoholic beers,
Yeah.
fruit juice and things like that. Also some vegan cheese, because I have one of my directors is a vegan.
Yeah.
And the wine and cheese party, it's really funny. The plates that I use, I should have brought one out. Years ago, Bob and I went to this event at the Markham Museum, and it was a food and wine event. And they had these plastic plates that said Markham Museum with a hole where you put your wine glass, you hang your wine
Oh,
glass on.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the plates cost $1. And then everybody was throwing them out. And I said to Bob, we could use those for a wine and cheese party. So we literally went dumpster diving.
I love it.
I pulled out 30. We had like a bag with like filthy plates. We took them home, washed them. So 20 years later, I'm still using them.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Oh,
Oh,
and everybody gets a
awesome.
kick out of it when they see them. It's like, oh, it's the Markham Museum plates. So now, because one of my neighbors even went dumpster diving and brought me some more. She brought me like 6. So
That's hysterical.
once we started doing it, other people caught on and started dumpster diving as well.
Right,
So
of
anyway,
course, of course. I just want to follow in you sort of in passing non-alcoholic wines and beers. And it's like everybody needs to have non-alcoholic options more now than ever. And it's nice to have a vegan. I usually try to do a gluten-free vegan cookie because that covers a lot of stuff. And it's, so just so that that's something for people for sure, right? With the little sign, vegan,
yeah,
no,
exactly.
non-gluten or gluten-free, whatever. And the other thing is, I know you don't do this, but in case anybody has not gotten the memo yet, if someone asks for a non-alcoholic drink, you don't say, "Oh, why aren't you drinking?" No, you just say, "Would you prefer apple cider or sparkling water or whatever you have on
Yeah,
offer?" Okay,
exactly.
like please, like most, I think everyone's really starting, but every now and then it's like, just okay.
And what's interesting too is that people don't, or maybe it's our age group or whatever, but I find that people don't, they'll have one or two glasses of wine and that's it.
Well,
Yeah.
because A, you're driving most places now,
Yeah.
and you have to take, what is it, an hour for 4 ounces of wine to metabolize or something? Or I don't know. Somebody said that. But I know I just usually, if I'm driving, I will have one and make it last for a few hours and have food.
A lot of water. Exactly.
Yeah, no.
And people are very, very conscientious of that. Now, mind you, with the neighbor party, people were walking, right? So it didn't matter, but they still didn't overdrink. And with my board members, most of them are fairly local. A lot of them came with their partner. The partner would drive. They would take turns. So
Yeah.
wine and cheese party is a really big one.
I also like to do apps and desserts. So if people, and I love potlucks too, and my family is big on potlucks. And so to have everyone bring either an appetizer or a dessert, because that way nobody has to be responsible for doing a big meal. Nobody, there's not the same kind of thing, and you can
Yeah.
leftovers can be shared out, or if there are any,
Yeah.
and there
So,
always are.
but with a wine and cheese party, I don't let anybody bring anything. I
No, and
insist.
that's a much more curated, fancy kind. So
Very,
we're kind of Leia is a more sophisticated entertainer than I am. But I also want like there are, like that is a beautiful way. I would love an invitation sometime. But also
You have eaten at my house. I don't
I
remember what
have
I
been
said.
at your house, but not for a wine and cheese.
Oh,
Did
there
you
you
tell them
go.
where you put? I was thinking about the non-alcoholic. Did you tell them about putting the cheese on the platters?
Yeah, I use glass plate, a cake
Yeah,
plate, and I'm
yeah.
gonna. And so each cheese, it has a flag on it. It describes what the cheese is. This time I went to a different place. I wasn't able to go downtown because my son wasn't available. That's a whole other story. But I found a place not far from here who had beautiful artisanal cheeses, not the selection that I usually get at the St. Lawrence Market, but a great selection nonetheless. And I mostly this time got Ontario and Quebec cheeses.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but I kind of specified that that's what I wanted. So I thought that was really important. When I do a dinner party, if I'm depending on what kind of a dinner, if I'm doing a proper sit down dinner party, um, which I don't do a lot during the holidays, but when I do them in the winter. I do make sure that I set my table up really fancy and I use different plates and different things like that. But what I do is I do a wine pairing with the courses. So I will have
Right.
my menu. I will go to the liquor store. I'll talk to the sommelier and I'll say to them, there's a particularly fantastic one over there at one of the big liquor stores. And I'll say, these are the courses that I'm serving. Can you suggest something?
Yeah.
And they're like that. And
Yeah.
it's fun because what's happened is then it's created a more like open palette in terms of different types of wine. Like
Sure.
for example, I'm not a fan of Pinot Grigio. I think it's tasteless, but there is a cousin called Pinot Gris, which is lovely and fresh and crisp, which I much prefer. And it's great when you're serving like a rich course, something creamy. It really kind of cuts through. It's very
Mm,
citrusy. Love Pinot Gris.
yeah, I don't like any Pinot.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Pinots. Anyway, so that's
Next.
something. What else have I got here on my list? Let me see. Number 6. Oh, gift planning. I always, at the beginning of the holiday season, I start to plan and I have a huge gift list because I have 3 children, 2 stepchildren, 2 daughters-in-law, 2 granddaughters, an ex-husband. Yeah, I buy from my ex-husband, honestly. You
I give
know,
my ex-husband and his wife a present every year.
there you go.
Like
And
it's
then,
usually food.
okay,
We exchange food or wine, right? It's like some
yeah.
usually like that.
Well, I've been knitting him sweaters, but I just didn't have time to do one this year.
Oh
And I
my
do.
goodness.
I know. I do like there's a lot of people like my hairdresser, my nail lady, my massage therapist, the supervisor of Bergen's group home. There's 10 PSWs that I get a small gift to. So the list kind of goes on and on and on. The vet clinic,
Wow.
the dog groomer, all these people that are important in my lives, my housekeeper. So I do, even if I'm giving them a small gift, I'm still giving them some kind of a gift. So I do sit down and do that planning out very carefully. The kids always know that they're going to get socks or underwear or gloves or something like that. They all get a Roots pajama set, like the plaid pants and a t-top. They're all going to get a cookbook, although the 2 couples get one cookbook between the 2 of them. So
Mm,
this year I found an Elf, the movie Elf. There's a
yeah.
cookbook that has kind of riffed off things and made recipes. So I thought that was fun for something different to do. So
Well,
that the
you're
gift
you're very organized. I've just
area.
had a lot of weird, crazy things going on over the last month and a bit. And I went to get my hair cut yesterday, and I always take my hairdresser a little something, and I hadn't, and I was like, oh, it's 2 weeks before Christmas. So I just tripled her tip, and I said, pretend that's in a really nice card with a bow.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
looked at it and she went, okay.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's good. Like
You could do
that's
that
what
for her. I could do that for her, but
yeah. I usually
not.
give them chocolates or something like that. I don't give them more money. Um, I don't know, maybe I'm being cheap.
I think it
The other
just depends on the year too, because
yeah.
I usually have a little, something. It just wasn't going to happen. I knew it wasn't going to happen, so I thought, well, I'm doing something,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know.
exactly. The other thing I do is I make Christmas ornaments,
Oh,
knitted Christmas ornaments. I make one for each of my granddaughters. Well, the baby's only a year old, so I'll be making her a second one. This one is for my friend's granddaughter, so I make one for my friend's granddaughter as well.
wow.
So they're knitted ornaments. They don't take a whole lot of time. I stuff them with remnants of yarn. I just finished this one last night, so I just have to keep
Beautiful.
shaping it into a ball. So that also, that's my, I do one a week, and that kind of that's my countdown as well. Are the Christmas ornaments. What can I say? Oh, the
Also,
dog.
when you're doing your gift planning, it's really important to set a budget.
Oh
It
God, yeah.
really is important.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's not how much is spent. Um, it's really about like just getting something that someone's going to appreciate. I mean, my we do lists. My kids and we all do. My kids do lists and ask for lists because there's no use getting something that someone's just going to go, thanks. It's a really nice thought, but so we do lists, and my list this year was all I want is all I want is time. I want like a lunch date or a dinner date or a movie date. That's all I want. And then theirs range from a pair of socks up to a piece for my computer. Like,
Yeah, I also do customized gifts. I give them a budget. The couples are allowed to combine. I last year it made me laugh because my son buy them gifts, other than the planned gifts that they know they're going to be getting. So my stepson and his wife last year, it was really cute because they had it like worked out right to the penny. So and I got them exactly what they wanted, and I've done exactly the same thing this year as well. So I do work with that budget as well.
a lot of people stop doing the adult gifts and only do like the small children gifts. And I think that that is a very viable solution for a lot of families.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
or you pull names out of the hat, or
Yeah.
you do the pick a gift but I don't like that because it always feels like somebody's gift is going to be the popular one, and somebody's going to feel badly that their gift isn't popular. So I prefer to, like, if you're going to do like pull names, um, or or just kids. Now we don't have little kids in my family, so that doesn't work, right? So it's like,
I still want to give gifts. I'm still at that point. I don't spend as much certainly as I used to.
hmm.
The cookbooks are what I call the Bob gift. So I inscribe it inside, and it says in memory of Bob, who loved family, friends, and food. And then I'll go Christmas, whatever.
So I love that, and that is one of the things that I have about emotionally preparing yourself for holidays is start a tradition to remember a loved one who isn't with you anymore. And that is a beautiful example of that.
And that's what I
Um,
do. I do what I call the Bob gift every year. So in the beginning it was something else, but now it's a book, a cookbook, or yeah, cookbook basically.
and I know of people who will put a special ornament on the tree for the person, or like, but it's a very specific, and you have to be aware it's going to make you sad, quite possibly, but that's okay. And if um well, while I'm here, another thing that helps a lot when you're afraid you're going to spend the whole time crying, and if you do, that's okay too, because it's part of life, the grief and the love. Um, but if it's songs, for example, I have been there have been times when a song has affected me so deeply that I couldn't listen to or sing it without crying, which can be a problem because I am a singer. I do sing publicly places, and so there's a thing, and they call it desensitization. That's the psychological term, is to you sing it over and over and over. You listen to it over until you can do it, until you can get through the song without crying, and then you do it again the next day because it may take a less time, or you may be past it. So that desensitization thing can be really, really a helpful trick in terms of, oh, I'm gonna go, especially if you go to church Christmas Eve or whatever, and you're gonna hear those songs and you maybe don't want to blubber out loud the whole time. Just quiet cry. Listen
Yeah.
to the music ahead of time so that you've had the experience ahead. So those
Yeah.
were two things I wanted
That's
to
a
make
very
sure
good
to
tip.
say.
That's a very good tip.
Yeah.
My favorite Christmas song isn't really even a Christmas song. It's Gordon Lightfoot's Song for a Winter's Night, the one that
Oh.
Sarah Michael sings. Because when Bob and I were courting, he wrote me a lovely card and it said something about wanting to hold the hands that I loved on this cold winter's night. And it's like,
Mm.
oh, so beautiful. Um, you made me mindful of something too. So when I've been asked, not by very many kids yet, but when they ask me what I want for Christmas this year, all I've asked is for a donation to the OSPCA
Yep.
on my because I don't need anything. I have a surplus of absolutely everything.
Right.
The other thing I like to do is Christmas movies in a particular order, and this is really funny. A lot of people do particular order of Christmas movies. So I
Okay.
always start with The Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which is an absolutely stupid movie, but I think it's hysterical. I do that, and I kind of roll through. Christmas Story is my absolute favorite one, as is It's a Wonderful Life, but Wonderful Life is one of the last ones. The next one I'm going to watch, I did watch Christmas Story out of order. I'm going to watch this weekend White Christmas because I absolutely love that one.
Mhm.
And then I get all the way up to the Alistair Sim version of A Christmas Carol, which I like. But
I
I
love
actually
that one.
really like the Muppet Christmas Carol one a lot.
Best version ever. Peter, he is for me, his Scrooge makes me cry every year. He's so good.
Yeah. No, I think it's wonderful. I absolutely love that one. So I do watch that. I have tried to watch the Hallmark Christmas movies. I think they're absolutely awful.
But some people really like them because they like the predictability. They
Oh
know
yeah.
there's going to be a
And
happy
that's
ending.
fine. But I just can't get through them. I get bored.
My new favorite Christmas movie from the last couple of years, and I don't know if I'm going to remember the name of it. It's Die Hard. It's Die Hard actually. I think that's what it's called because it's from or Die. It's a combination of Die Hard, the Christmas
Yeah.
movie, and Love Actually, the Christmas movie. Okay, it is. I watched it twice last year because I
Really?
was so surprised at how much I liked it that I wanted Brent to watch it too.
That's a riot. I've never
It's
even
just
heard that.
it's and it's got this lovely actor, lovely guy, and I've seen him in other things. Anyway, I should
Look up.
Google it and make sure I've got the name close to correct. But I just it has gone on to my list. Love Actually has fallen off my list because I've gotten
I
angry with it.
I
I
hate
liked
that.
it for about 2, 3 years.
Oh, I hate that movie. I tried to watch it the other night and I've watched it before and then I realized that I hated it. I think it's absolutely stupid. I'm boycotting the Santa Claus starring Tim Allen because I'm boycotting Tim Allen, but I used to really love those. The other thing I do is between Christmas and New Year's, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. I do the Lord of the Rings. So I do the three Hobbit and then I do the three Lord of the Rings movies, which
Oh,
I
nice.
probably recite the whole damn thing by heart because I've watched those movies a bajillion and a half times. But that's something that Bob and I used to do, and I do it as well. Is that what else have I got here on my list? Nine. Oh, menu planning. And I have a book that I record menus. Sometimes I forget to do it, sometimes I don't. I usually record the cheese, didn't do it this year. I so I'll plan my menu very, very carefully.
Mm.
So this weekend is so the other thing that I do is and then I will consult. So for Christmas this year, I'm actually doing Christmas on the 21st because it's a lot of combined family stuff and
Mm.
everyone seems
We're
to
doing
have
ours on the 21st too.
yeah, a lot of people seem to be, and I've told them we're doing a Nordic spin, and the reason we're doing a Nordic spin is because I'm Finnish parentage, and my ex-husband way back there were Norwegian, so it'll be kind of, and also too, I got a vegetarian coming, a pescatarian, I'm a pescatarian, so I got to do a mix of food, but gonna do
Wow.
that. The other thing that I do that we started doing was because Bob's birthday was the 19th. That first year, my sisters didn't want me to be alone, so they came and
Mm.
weekend with me. And we've kind of we do this every month. We call it Sister from the Same Mista weekend. And we we get together, and my one sister comes in from Madoc. She usually comes in the Friday night. We have pizza, we drink wine, we watch knitting podcasts, we go to bed early. And then on the Saturday, we usually do something. So this time, and then my other sister comes who just lives north of here for the Saturday. And then sometimes we do different things for food. Like sometimes we do things that our mother loved to make. And sometimes we just, do a finished version of it. This time, I'm making a chicken tarragon. I'm doing my warm cheese salad.
Do you
Someone's
have
doing,
traditional foods that you make every year?
no, not really.
I do. I make a shortbread every year
Okay.
it's basically whole wheat flour, butter, and brown sugar. It is as traditional as one can get. I do. In our family we have we call them fiddle diddles. They're those chocolate stovetop cookies with oatmeal and coconut and chocolate. Um and dressing, my mom's dressing stuffing
Yeah.
recipe. I do that every year, the same. It's like I'm a traditionalist about some things, and
Yeah.
I mean I know there are other. I did a gluten-free stuffing for a couple of years called patuffing because it was made out of potatoes, and sweet potatoes. It was nice, but it's not like the dressing that I grew up with.
Yeah.
And my kids were like, "Are you gonna go back?" So yeah,
You
we've gone
see,
back.
Finns had ham, and their ham is different than Canadian ham. It's called kinku. It's done differently. So I asked
Oh,
my
interesting.
to look for it. But we would often do a pork roast, Bob and I, and because he wasn't crazy about turkey and so on and so forth. But the LCBO has it. If you can still find it online. It's a wonderful, wonderful stuffing. It's made with sausage, pork sausage, and
Yuck.
Italian bread.
Ugh, that would spoil it for me completely. I wouldn't be able to eat it.
It's so good, but I don't eat pork anymore. But anyways, that stuffing is good. The
Yeah.
only thing I probably make consistently is something that I call kitchen sink potatoes. So they're like a mashed potato in a casserole. They have everything in them but the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
Um, we do have certain things at Christmas that we have all the time. We have finished pulla, which is a cardamom sweetened bread. If we can get piraka, which are a rice and potato thing, it's hard to
Yeah.
explain them.
Yeah.
I know they are, and you eat them with the egg butter. Those are absolutely delicious. I
Huh.
am making a couple of finished dishes. I am making a rutabaga casserole, which is I think it's called anyways, doesn't matter. And I am making a finished beet salad as well, which is interestingly enough tossed with unsweetened whipped cream.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness. Huh.
yeah, so it's I think it's called Rosalie. I don't know. Anyways, it's kind of the pink. So I am going to do that. And we're going to have appetizers that are Scandinavian
Right.
or
Yeah, we do traditional Ukrainian I usually on Little Christmas, but sometime, which is also Orthodox Christmas, right? But sometimes we will have, like pierogi for as part of it or as a lunch. And I forgot, I always make cranberry sauce from scratch, which is hard. It's not hard, right? But it sounds so good.
I
Um,
know.
and then what's the other thing? Um, oh, French toast casserole for Christmas morning.
Yeah, see, I never made that because, and I'll tell you what, my Christmas was always Christmas Eve. And that's what my Christmas is. And then
Mhm.
Christmas Day was just the day that you played with toys and ate leftovers.
Ah,
And Bob and I did the same thing. We had Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day was the day that we basically just cleaned up and sat around in our pajamas. So, traditions change with time. They change with people who are
they
in and out of
do.
your life. Things are different. So you have to create your own traditions. And now I can't reel the kids in because, they want to be in their homes for Christmas morning, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. So I'm going to end up going to
Oh,
my son.
when I say French toast casserole for Christmas
Yeah.
morning, that is a tradition I have started in the last 10 years. And
Ah,
it's not necessarily Christmas morning. It's the m-
morning
when my
after.
kids come for Christmas dinner on the 21st, they all live out of town basically, so they stay over. So the next morning is
Back.
before they head out for.
Yeah,
everything else.
that's when you do it.
Yeah.
What else have I got here? Oh, I also want to say about this weekend. We just discovered just north of here, half an hour north of here, there's a Christmas market that looks like the German or European style. It's
Oh,
the country, but it's run by a Finnish family. So we're gonna go up on the Saturday afternoon and check that out. My friend was there last week. She said it was great. I'm coming to the end of my list here. The other thing that I do is, and the last thing that I do, and this is if you're a knitter or a crafter, is we plan our Christmas Day cast on or Christmas Eve and our Boxing Day cast on and a New Year's cast on. So we cast on 3 new projects and we plan them in advance, and that's what we do. So yeah, I've already planned and have the yarn organized for my 3 cast-ons. So
interesting, interesting. That's so cool. Um, Music every year. I am part of a solstice concert, which it's for the how many years have we done it now? I guess this is our third or fourth year doing it at the Balls Falls Conservation Area, and it's a fundraiser for the conservations folks. And it's wonderful. It's all solstice music, winter and solstice. So it's not there's no Christmas at all in it, but it's winter and solstice, and it's a beautiful concert. I love that one. Um, and also like the traditions of singing Hallelujah chorus, going out and doing that, or going to the carol services, and even people sometimes people go, well, what, you only go to church two times a year? That's okay. If that's what you do, do that. I don't really even do that anymore, but I used to love when I was singing in the cathedral choir in Ottawa. I loved singing those services. The music's so beautiful, and it was just
And there's something very, very magical about that. Actually, that reminds me, I have to watch Home Alone too. Um, and not to get too far ahead, but for New Year's, one of the things that I often do for New Year's is open up the doors
oh,
for a period of
I
time.
do that
And
too. I open up the door at midnight and I ring my bell.
oh no, we're sweeping out the bad and sweeping in the good. So
There
yeah,
you
it's
go. I'm ringing in the new and letting go of the old. And
so I'm thinking our next episode should be about New Year's and New Year's rituals. Uh, and things like that, things that we do for the new year. Some people like resolutions, some people don't. Some people do a variety of different things. But I think that would be something that we could talk about. I think it would be
yeah.
a good
Well, the other
segue.
thing too, because of around solstice, it is like that time where it tilts, right? It tilts from the days growing longer and the nights short, the days growing longer, and then, sorry, the nights growing longer, and then it flips on winter solstice to the so that the days start to get longer, which in in Finland and in parts of Canada really hardly happens, but um, here where we live, it's a big deal. And it's a really good time to think about what you want to let go of and what you want to bring in. So, yeah.
Also, good time of year. It's time of year when I like to cocoon, get cozy, get a lot of reading done, knitting, meditating, workout, just really kind of being quiet and
Yeah.
trying to slow things down just a little bit because I have a very busy, very hectic life. But I try at least over this sort of holiday period into the beginning of January just to try to slow the pace of living down just a little bit. Those wonderful mornings when you get up when it's snowy and you put on a pot of coffee and you've got your clementines and you can sit and you can
Mhm.
read or you can knit or you can do whatever you want to do in that first thing in the morning. Listen to me. I usually have a cup of coffee, knit, and listen to music. It's just a nice, just to kind of ease into the day. I just think it's just such a beautiful way to get the day started, and I just love this time of year. Sorry, I got a dog.
Clementines and pomegranates are Christmas fruits for me, are holiday fruits. And in stockings, when my dad would always talk about when he was a kid, the big deal was having an orange in the toe of your stocking. Like that was such luxury. item. And then, so when we were kids, there was always an apple, like a really beautiful polished apple in the toe. And I think it was them carrying on the tradition. And I transposed that tradition into those round chocolate oranges, and I would put those in the toe of my kids' stockings. So if I have a kid overnight for Christmas, which sometimes happens, they get their chocolate orange in the toe of a stocking still.
Well, stockings were never part of our tradition. I did use them. As you can see, I've got them hanging there. I don't know if I'm going to give the kids anything this year at all. I feel like they're at the point now that they don't need anything that
I
I could
think, well,
possibly.
no, we've pretty much done away with stockings. Except I have one son who really loves tradition, and I often have him over Christmas Eve into Christmas morning, and
Yes.
he still has the stocking I made him when he was a child, and
Oh,
so I always make sure I have something including the chocolate orange, you know. Just
yep.
to, yeah. And the toothbrush. The two things that were always in our stockings were chocolate and toothbrushes.
A toothbrush. It's a good way
Oh
to start
boy.
the
Well, this
toothbrush.
has been fun. And I hope that if anybody has any traditions that they really love that you'd like to share, please put them in the comments. And also, if you have any tips for people who may be finding it being difficult going into the holidays, please share those. And also, do reach out. If you're having a hard time, please reach out to one of the helplines, to a friend, to somebody, because reach out. You know what? You won't know how many people will love you and will want to help you and support you, okay? We are here. Lots of people are here.
Exactly. And I mean, really, and that really should carry on throughout the year. That there you
It
just
should carry on throughout the year, but sometimes this is a very despairing time of year for people. And listen, guys, don't despair. You're at the end of your rope. Tie a knot and hang on. Don't tie a noose, tie a knot and hang on, and then call and ask for help. And don't,
exactly.
if the first person says no, call someone else.
Yeah. Or reach out to
Okay.
us. We have a
Hey,
Facebook group. We're there to support you.
join our Facebook group. We are there. We are having a blast. We've got more members from Greece now. It's so cool.
Yeah. And we
Just
would
one to
like you to please, if you've enjoyed this podcast or any of our podcasts, please like and subscribe. It helps us with the algorithm. It helps people find us. There are lots of people who are interested in having conversations such as Peggy and I got. It's really just a conversation between friends. And we want to talk about things that we would talk about if we were sitting with you and enjoying a glass of wine or a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. This is the kind of conversation that we want to have. So I'm going to ask you to raise your glass and wish everybody a wonderful holiday season and a
Yes,
happy new year. And we will see you in the new year.
you bet. And
Cheers.
much love and light in your lives.
Hippies.
Cheers. You have to drink now. Notice I didn't really need to tell her that. She already knew.
I apologize
Okay.
for speaking. Freya's playing with her toy. She's squeaking us out here. Okay.
Bye, y'all.